What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about two cryptos today, doing another 2-for-1 video, talking about TOSHI and Turbo in this video. If that sounds good to you, hit the like button, subscribe. Let's get into it, okay? We'll talk about TOSHI first, then Turbo. Bitcoin's moving down a little bit, isn't it? Wow. Yep. A little bit of a movement down here. That's I'm not worried about it, right? We look at the liquidation levels. Let's just see over the past 24 hours on Bitcoin. Longs are decimated. Shorts are ready to get squeezed. 30-day time frame, same thing, right? A little bit. There's a last island of hope for the longs at about 107K. Maybe we clear that out. Maybe that's just bait. Those are spoofed orders so that we can pile on the shorts. I'm actually surprised. You know what's kind of wild is we're looking at this here, and these liquidation levels have actually come down. Bitcoin moved down, and we're seeing some profit taking from the shorts because the shorts actually dropped about $1.2 billion in volume, and all we've done is move down. So there's definitely some profit taking going on down here, probably from people who know better. But anyways, enough about Bitcoin. Understanding Bitcoin helps us understand the prices. Maybe if there's profit taking going on, there might be some causality to move back up after this. But again, getting back on track here, talking about TOSHI. TOSHI, looking at this on a daily time frame, we are clearly at the base of this upward sloping trend that we've really been in for most of our life, right? We're clearly in this base area, and I want to actually pull up the TOSHI 3 chart for this here because I think it's a little bit more obvious with the all-time history on there, right? You've been holding this area as support for, I mean, basically like over a year now, going back to 2024, right? From this low coming up, you've been holding this area as support, and every single time that you've been below this line has actually been the most opportunistic moments to buy. And we're actually right there at the line right now. And I do assume, and are we a little bit below it even? I do assume that we'll probably go a little bit lower, and that's fine if we do. I'm actually open to the idea of most altcoins going below, not their low on the 10th, maybe some of them do. But like this low point here, I wouldn't be surprised, and it looks like we already have. So that it's kind of a spoiled call already. But looking at this on the 1 hour time frame, the RSI is, well, for lack of a better word, it's terrible. It's terrible. This is a perfect storm for a bear. If you're looking for a bearish trend, this is exactly what you want to see. Oversold, 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 never overbought, largely living below the 50. For most of the time that you're above the 50, it's very short-lived. It's like a gasp of fresh air, and then you're plunged back below. All the big stuff's happening down to the downside, and you are moving lower. So what's nice about this, though, is as bearish as it is, you're not really too bearish on this price action, right? You've kind of just moved sideways. You're neutral. You're getting truly bearish readings on the 1 hour time frame. You're just really moving sideways. You haven't moved down stupendously since you got oversold here, right? Like this, whatever. It's not a big deal. MACD looks a bit bearish, stochastics look bearish, but you're also at points where you could expect to find support at any given moment. So while we are expecting lower prices, don't be surprised if there's some volatility. I made this call for Ethereum. I think the price action is going to be tricky over the coming days. I wouldn't be surprised if it was tricky for every altcoin as well, or at least for most altcoins. If we're looking at this recent pivot from this low here to this high here, what do I mean by tricky, by the way? I mean, as soon as it seems like all hope is lost and we're going to zero, that's when we move up. As soon as it seems like, all right, it's time to get in, full bull mode ahead, we're going to new all-time highs, that's when we'll come down, right? It's going to be tricky. Low to high here. Here we are hitting the 1272. Wouldn't be surprised if we came a little bit lower, maybe down to about 30675. So we might actually go below 307, and that's okay. 3069, 30675. I think that was the target area that we had on our last TOSHI video that we considered going below, and that's fine. Go down there. It doesn't really matter. It's not a big deal. Looking at the 4 hour time frame here, and I want to pull this. We'll pull up the TOSHI 3 chart again probably as we get to the end of this segment of the video, but I want to look at something with some volume on it. Yeah, look at this. No volume. You had some volume here selling off, but there's no volume here. This is going to get eaten back. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but anybody who's holding or looking to buy TOSHI right now, it's a great time. It's truly a great time, I think, to buy some TOSHI right now. This thing will likely snap back up, I think, to like 308 and above in a matter of no time at all. But looking at the 4 hour time frame here, RSI is abysmal. It's very sad. We're probably going to get a stab into the oversold zone. The thing is here, and how I like to think of it, is typically, whenever you get oversold like this, you expect to see more interactions, right? It's not that you're going to get oversold and then you come out and then you're going all the way up here. Don't think of it like that. I mean, maybe, but likely you get oversold, you'll have another interaction, form some bullish divergence, and then move up, which tells me that we have days of downward conflict to resolve. Essentially, we've got days, multiple days. So going into next week, I wouldn't be surprised if we were at lower prices than we are even now. The MACD looks bearish, stochastics look bearish as well. So lower prices are on the way, my friends. They absolutely are. In which case, again, we revert back to this. I'm not using this low to high. I mean, maybe it'll be suitable. Let's just see. Low to high here. It's just funky price action, so I don't know how much it can be trusted. Something at even 3065 to 306 itself is possible. That golden ratio here, the golden extension, lines up with the double golden extension. So I'm not saying that I think Toshi's going down to 306. I'm just saying if it happens, it's a perfectly fine area to find support. And again, remember back in the beginning, we're at that base trend line here. You know, even dating back since before Coinbase's existence, we're at the base trend line here. Anytime you go below this trend line, it's an opportunistic moment to buy, and we're at that moment now. A little bit lower, sure, that might happen from here, but the lowest I'd see you going is 306. That doesn't mean I'm calling for 306. I'm just saying if we went down there, I wouldn't be surprised. At this moment, I'm thinking we'll find support at 3067. But again, anything and everything in between I think is fair game. And we'll probably see that happen and take place over the coming days. Don't be mistaken, right? We can move up from here. We can move up to 3077 and still move back down. We could take out this high. We could take out this high and still move back down, okay? It's not a exclusive to the immediate sense of price action moving lower, right? We can absolutely bounce here and then move lower. If you want to invalidate my call, well, I think the only way to invalidate that really would be, let's just look at this here. If we are holding this as support, if this isn't something that's going to promote a lower low, then that means we've got a double bottom, and really what we have is a W shape going on. So really the only way to invalidate my call would be to get a 4-hour to close above here, above 30844. Close a 4-hour time frame above there, then I'm wrong. If you don't like that, that's too far away. You're like, okay, so you're wrong. If we see a higher high, then you admit we're wrong. We're too late by then. Okay, I get that. I get the frustration there. I'm just saying with the given scenario that we have, I think it is important to be strict and to be even lenient to a certain degree with the price action, but it's important to be strict with this zone, but lenient with how high it can go within this range, okay? Because some weird stuff can happen, and we can still go down. We could go all the way up here and still go lower, mark my words. But if you don't like that, then I would say we can start getting optimistic if we get 4-hour time frames to close above 3078, okay? If we could, or probably even, let's say 3079. If you can start closing 4-hour time frames above there, maybe there's some reasons to have some hope, right? We're breaking out of this trend. You got a higher high, whatever, you know, maybe at that point there's some reasons to have hope. But until then, until either of those outcomes, and really I would think 30844 is the line in the sand to watch. Until either of those, I would think we are moving down, right? I stick to my guns with that 3067, 306 area being the area that we find support, okay? Overall, the 4-hour time frame looks sad. It looks desperate. All right, don't be desperate, right? Imagine here, right? And I'm sure I was saying that we were going to move up. I think we were expecting that, weren't we? Because I bought here. We were expecting that we'd move up and recover, and we didn't. Imagine here you got desperate and you sold and you panicked and you bought something else that was pumping, and then it consolidated and went down and you doubled down on your losses. Imagine you sold here because we were expecting that you'd bounce here. The unexpected thing happened, and guess what? That would be a terrible time to sell. Would have been an opportunity to buy. If you just held, nobody remembers that. Nobody cares about this zone, the fact that we went a little bit lower, right? And I do remember. I think we were originally calling for higher prices, right? That's what was happening, and we got that wrong. So again, even if you're expecting higher prices here and you get that wrong, we go lower. Don't get desperate. It's a prime opportunity to buy, is what it is, right? And if I'm wrong, and I can be wrong again, I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. We can go above here. We go above there, then you prove me wrong. That's really all it takes. But at the end of the day, we're very bullish on Toshi. We think big things are coming, expecting some big things. You know what's funny? Everybody's saying that Coinbase and Binance are having a feud right now. I think they're not. I think they're not having a feud. I think that Binance, and I mean, maybe they are, maybe there's some, and obviously there is some competition. They're two of the biggest exchanges. Coinbase is literally number 2, Binance is number 1, and it's not even close. Binance is by far number one. But as far as like a regulated exchange goes that's compliant with U.S. rules, I feel like Coinbase is way further, and probably even in the UK too. But with that being said, I think that there's actually some commingling going on there. Coinbase is going to list BNB. BNB has some base projects, like from base Coinbase, that their base protocol has some base projects listed. Like there's some commingling there. If they were really cutthroat, they wouldn't have any of their projects on there. And I think we're going to see BNB list on Coinbase. We're probably going to see TOSHI list on Binance. Okay, there's probably going to be some TOSHI being listed on Binance, and it's one of the biggest memes on base. I'm assuming it will get listed, and with that, you're probably going to get a large and massive candle that corresponds with that. Right? You're not on Binance yet, and I think from a high to a low. I'm not saying that a Binance listing is what's going to take you here. I just wouldn't be surprised if we heard it as we're up in this area, that Toshi's likely going to see anything from a 6x to a 14x move, something between about a half cent and 1 cent. I'd very much believe that we see this sometime in November. Consolidate and then continue to rally going into the end of the year and going into 2026. We'll be seeing 2 cents and beyond as time goes on, right? We're very bullish on Toshi. I think it's obvious that you're in a uptrend here, right? Higher lows, higher highs. I'm not drawing it the best, but you can see it there with your eyes, right? We're at this pressure point right now where we're building right up to it. We're getting higher lows and higher lows and higher lows. Don't panic now, okay? Again, every time that we've been below this line right here, every time we've been below that line has been an opportunity to buy. If we do it again, you better make the right decision. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Anyways, that's Toshi. Let's move on. Let's talk about Turbo now, okay? Man, is Bitcoin going to do it? Are we going to break below 108K? Oh, we did it. Oh, no. Okay, no, not yet, not yet. We're going to do it, man. Capitulation is at hands, my friend. People are probably freaking out right now. They're quivering in their little bull boots. Oh, man. You'd think that we'd learn our lesson, but you guys, there's about $1 billion between here and 106K, and we could definitely make a stab down. Absolutely, we could. Oh, man. My Bitcoin call calling for the prices to go up is so wrong. It was so wrong, man. We were bullish on the price, and or no, was I bearish? What was my recent video? Hold on, what was it? I'm getting all confused here. Uh, I think I was bullish. I think my most recent video was actually bullish on Bitcoin. That's okay. That's okay. Higher prices are on the way, though. We will see higher prices soon enough, but we're just shaking out the markets. I can't remember. The video, the title says higher prices are on the way, but I feel like I was bearish. I don't. Who cares? Who cares? We're not talking about Bitcoin. We're talking about Turbo. Let's talk about Turbo. Here we are, $0.025 right now. I'm gonna have to watch that video and see, because I'm actually curious. I can't believe I forgot what direction I was making there, but it's so obvious that it's bearish right now, right? Turbo on a 1 hour time frame here. If we're looking at this, a little bit of a sell-off alongside of the rest of the market, right? Moving down a little bit here. Let's look at you on Coinbase, because we're on the short-term stuff, so that's fine, right? Looking at you on Coinbase here. Hold on, guys. Waiting for this to load. Okay, cool. Cool. Getting oversold, coming out. 31 minutes left in this 1 hour time frame. I don't know. I would expect that we do move lower. Building volume as we're coming down. We'll see. I mean, you could bounce here. You're finding support potentially at prior resistance right there. That's not bad, right? If we're looking at this overall with a, let's take this. Should we take this low? I don't know if I like this. Let's take this. No, because then we can't take that high. Let's take this low. We'll take this low to high here. Right? For anybody who's confused as to what I was just doing there, we can't take this low to this high, because after this low came this high, so we'd have to take that low to high. And I don't think we're going to respect that fib range personally. So I looked for the next range to take afterwards, and that would have been this low here to this high there. Golden ratio support, I think we nailed it. 382 resistance back to the golden ratio. Turbo, in these kind of environments, it actually is typical to go down to the 786, 886 and find support there. So 0025, 0024, something in that zone. You're at 0026 right now, so a little bit lower makes sense to me. Looking at the 1 hour time frames here, looking at the RSI, you are bearish. Stochastics are bearish, and the MACD is just about to cross red. I mean, it has crossed red, rejecting the zero. You look bearish. We look at the 4 hour time frame here, zooming out a little bit. and we do have a bearish RSI as well, right? I don't know if you guys can hear that, but that's just the shower turning on. My wife has woken up and she's taking a shower at the moment, so I don't know if you guys hear that, but that is just the water turning on in the house. Right on the other side of this wall is the master bedroom bathroom, actually. So that's convenient for for noise purposes. Hopefully it's not distracting. 4-hour time frame here. The RSI does look like it wants to get into the oversold zone, right? You broke out. Whoop, you broke out of your downtrend. Nice, good job. You broke out of your downtrend. That's a bullish moment right there, right? You didn't really do much with it though. You didn't do much. You just found resistance at prior areas of support. Now you're back down, and that was it. You had your fun in the sun for a moment, and now you're coming back down. I think what we're going to see is a higher low in the RSI overall with a lower low in the price action. Now, that doesn't mean that we have to go lower than this low, but just a lower low than where we closed here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we did inevitably get down to something that is below 0.00245, okay? Something that is below there. That would be my expectation. With that in mind, I actually want to take this extension from a low to a high. The golden ratio is very close. You're going to break that. So the area to expect would be 0.024, which lines up with the target area that we already have, right? And 0.0222. That's the area that I would anticipate. We could go as low. Hell, we could even go as low as 0.021 and still be fine. I'm not calling for turbo to go all the way down here. I'm just saying if it does, we're fine. We're at areas to find support. I would think 0.024 to 0.023 probably holds a support, and then we move up from there. Okay, that's the expectation at the moment. A little bit lower, probably over the coming days, and then higher. There we go. Broke below 108K. Breaking below, man. Breaking those barriers. Come down. Get this lower low in the price on a closing basis, right? You don't have to get a lower low here. Even if you go lower than that, whatever, who cares? But probably get a lower low on a closing basis on a 4-hour time frame, and then from there you have your bullish divergence formed on the 4-hour RSI and on the MACD probably, and you'll move up higher from there. But other than that, your indicators all suck. They look like you want to move down, so you probably do move lower. That's the expectation. What are the liquidation levels looking like now? I just want to see. Have they cleared out? Have they gotten scared that we've broken the psychological level? No, they haven't. In fact, it looks like there's more longs piled on now than there were just a second ago. Wow, they piled on another 100 million in longs. The shorts are piling on too. We're going to get some volatility, guys, in the next 24 hours. We're definitely going to get some volatility. I would expect by this time tomorrow, Bitcoin's probably back around 115K. But damn, you are... oh, those poor souls who are longing right now. Our poor bags, you guys. Everything's down. Everything is down. Were you green today? No longer. You're in the red. Everything is down, man. Omni was up like 16% yesterday. It's down 12% today. Zora was up like 20% yesterday. It's actually down like 20% from that high. Anyways, Turbo, daily time frame. Higher lows here in the MACD. I would love it if we closed a little bit below that low there, right? The daily close. And we still had higher lows here in our histogram as well, forming bullish divergence on the 4-hour RSI and the daily histogram on the MACD. And we could even set up for bullish divergence on the daily RSI as well. Overall, very bearish on all indicators. Going lower is not a surprise here at all, but I do think that we're at a point where we're going to find support and we're going to be moving up soon. I don't think that this lasts too much longer. I'd be very surprised. I would be very surprised if we went below wherever the low was on Coinbase, right here at 0.002. I'd be very surprised. Honestly, if we went below 0.021 even, I'd be pretty surprised. Especially that low, that crazy wick there. Looking at this on a weekly time frame, zooming out a little bit more, Turbo is around the same areas in the RSI that it bounced from before. We're at the same areas in the stochastics where we've bounced from before, where we found support, a little bit lower, a little bit weaker. The MACD rejecting the 0 is not a good look in itself, but I do think that we're at a point where we're going to find support and move up higher soon enough, right? The expectation overall is that we will see Turbo at new all-time highs. We will see Turbo at new all-time highs by the end of this year, and the expectation is anything from 2.7 cents to 6.2 cents to come into view. That'd be anything from about a 11x move at a minimum. At a minimum, by the end of the year, Turbo, you will see an 11x move from the current price, let alone from lower. At a maximum, maybe 24x or more. You could see higher prices than that, but that's the expectation between now and then. certainly believe that we're going to go higher than that by the end of the cycle, as well as Toshi. I think will go higher. I think both of these coins have 100x potential, even beyond that. I just wouldn't expect anything that reflects a market cap around or above 60 billion to come into play. I think that 20 to 50 billion dollar zone is probably what we'll see. Maybe a little bit above there for either of these projects is possible. But I don't have anything else. I'm just rambling at this point. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you're all staying safe and that you're not panicking too much, because you know, moments like this, again, they can really get to you. Just think of it as a roller coaster. We're in this scary dark tunnel right now. The cameras are flashing. Your buddy's throwing up next to you. It's going to be a good memory at the end of the day, as long as you stay in the cart. Okay, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye.